Hello and welcome to Ask Steph, the weekly series where I, Stephanie Lillian, take the time to answer your yoga and meditation questions. So this week, the question for the week is if I have any recommendations on postures or stretches for low back pain. I have lots of stretches for you, however, I whittled it down to 3 stretches in which I felt are good ones to start with if you're trying to relieve any low back pain. So let's jump right in. The first stretch that I would recommend for anybody who has problems with the low back region is a nice gentle forward fold. However, this forward fold is going to be a little bit different. Traditionally, we fold forward with the legs flat on the ground and begin to lean on forward. However, usually when we do so, we start to receive an intense stretch on the backs of the legs. We're going for low back relief today, right? So if you want to begin to find low back relief in the forward fold, I recommend that you put the heels on the ground and bend the knees. Notice my feet aren't flat on the ground, that I'm flexing the toes back towards my knees. That'll help provide a little bit of traction to begin to work into the low back. So if you'd like to join me, find a seat on the ground, straighten your legs, and then step those heels in towards you, bending the knees. Flex the feet towards you, and then on an inhale, you'll sit up nice and tall, and exhale, you'll begin to lean forward. Now, the depth of the bend to your knees may differ. It may just be a subtle bend and you begin to feel the stretch in the low back. You may need a significant bend and just a subtle pulling the heart forward in order to feel the relief in the low back. So I'd like you to maybe play around with it once you get into it. Step the heels closer, step them further away. And the goal here is to shine the chest. Notice how straight my back got. Shine the chest, shine the heart forward as you lean rather than reaching towards the toes. So look at all that space I get in the low back when I shine my heart forward and really use my abdominal muscles to bring my rib cage towards the thighs. So you'll pause here for however long you'd like, continuing to pull the toes back towards the kneecaps and shine the heart forward. When you're here, breathe into the low back. So take some big breaths, sending your awareness, your breath to the space in the low back. After this stretch, the next stretch that I have for you is one in which you'll be laying down. So if you want to join me and you have the space, lay on down, all the way to the mat, and then you'll step the feet wider than hips distance. The knees are bent yet again. Hands can rest anywhere by the sides or even on the belly. From here, you'll take a big inhale, and then exhale, drop the knees over to one side. Now the knees will just hang in space. On your next inhale, you'll bring the knees up to center, and exhale, drop them on over. So you'll approach this like a moving meditation, inhaling to rise and exhaling to lower. And as we sway the knees side to side, you'll begin to feel a nice stretch in the low back, possibly even the sacrum and the upper hip points. So you'll follow your breath, swaying the knees side to side and breathing into what you feel. As you're here, try to keep the shoulders relaxed, the jaw soft. Release any traveling tension in the body, if you will. If you'd like, you can even pause on each side. So my knees are dropping to the right now. The knees can hang in space and just rest there. If it feels like too much to have the knees hanging in space, you can definitely put a pillow, block, or bolster either in between the two legs or under your bottom leg. And you can do the same thing on the other side. Awesome. So the final stretch I have for you, we'll rock on up to, is donkey kicks. So this one might seem a little bit unusual. Donkey kicks, we come on up to hands and knees, tabletop position. And once you get here, the wrists are under the shoulders and the knees are hips distance. I'll demo real quick to show you what a donkey kick looks like, but I want to describe to you why we come to this position before we move forward. So essentially a donkey kick is lifting on up, bringing the knee to about glute or hip high, and then coming back down. So why would we do something like a donkey kick? Well, low back pain can be helped by strengthening the abdominal muscles and also strengthening the glutes. So you work into the two muscle groups, the big muscle groups that surround that region to help, rather than compression in the spine, to lift yourself on out of it and decompress that region. So if you'd like to join me to practice this, again, bring the hands directly under the shoulders, the knees, hips distance. And before we begin, a lot of the times I'll see students, the second that knee lifts up, they want to lift it up higher, but when they do, watch my core, the back begins to arch. We don't want that here. We're working on core and glute strength. So you're gonna suck the low belly in and keep that back nice and long as we flow. So let's take a couple rounds together. Press the ground away through the hands and the knees. And on your next inhale, lift that right knee up off the ground, bring it to hip height. Exhale, lower just to a hover. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift up, squeeze that right glute. Exhale, lower, low belly pulls in. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower, switch sides. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, lower, 2 more. Inhale, lift, squeeze that left glute. Exhale, lower, keep pulling that low belly in. Last time, inhale, up. And exhale, set down. If you'd like, you can totally hold on each side too. As you hold though, make sure the belly button is drawing in towards the spine and you're working on squeezing those glutes. That'll help to relieve and open up the low back a bit. So those are my 3 recommended stretches for you if you're working into finding some relief in the low back. Again, we started with the forward fold, but we kept the knees bent and the toes pulling back towards the kneecaps and found that stretch in the low back. From there, we moved to laying down on the mat and we swayed the knees side to side as we stepped the feet out wider than hips distance, and you have the option to hold on each side too if you'd like. Finally, we came back up to hands and knees, tabletop position, and did some donkey kicks on each side. So we worked on lifting the knee, squeezing the glute on the side of the lifted knee, and pulling the low belly in towards the spine, keeping that low back nice and long. Did that on each side, and of course you have the option to hold. Wherever you go with these stretches, please, please, please stay with the breath and stay in the body. Listen to your body and the signals that you're receiving within. If your body ever tells you that it's too much or you're feeling pain, then you've gone too far. Yoga should never be painful, should always feel good, and at anything it should feel like a, ooh, that hurts so good, not a, ouch, that really hurts, if you get what I mean. Also, when we're dealing with low back pain, I'd like to throw in there as well that yoga is not like medicine in the sense that you receive 3 postures and then the pain goes away, like when you pop an ibuprofen and the pain subsides. That's not yoga. Yoga is so much more than that. Yoga is a journey to tuning within and getting to know yourself a little bit better, finding your way back to your heart. So it's very different than a treatment, if you will. Low back pain tends to be around the energetic signals or the energetic centers in the body, where there tends to be issues around issues with the self, issues with security, financial issues, issues of well-being, and creativity when you begin to find stagnation in that area. So if you are dealing with low back pain, maybe you take this time to reflect upon what's causing this? Is it something external from you, something internal? Is it practice thoughts that are now amounting to physical pain and burden in the body? Find some self-exploration. Use these postures as a way to begin to tune inwards towards yourself. And more than anything, know that you are perfect just as you are today. Do not come to odds with your pain. Find love for it. Frustration and anger just leads to more issues and tension in the body. So find a way to find love for the way your body is today, for the gift within is guiding you to a deeper version and a more in tune version of yourself. Thank you so much for spending your time and energy with me here today, and I hope these stretches help you along your healing journey. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.